Alright, so hey guys, so today I am finally doing a video about back to school. So actually I know the back to school video started way back in July. I know some people went back, like already went back. Some people go back in a couple of days, start next week, whenever they did that. For me personally, I don't start school until September 5th, so I haven't gotten any school supplies or anything like that, except for I did order my book bag already and it came. And I really wish I would have did an unboxing video because it was so cute. But I'm going to do a back to school supplies haul once I do get all of my back to school supplies. But honestly, it's just going to be really late because on YouTube, like, all of that stuff is happening now. And I probably won't have my stuff till like August 25th at the earliest. So yeah, because I don't go back to school till September 5th. But anyways, today's video is going to be a freshman advice video because when I was a freshman, like when I was going into my freshman year, I didn't watch any YouTube like freshman advice videos just because I wasn't really into YouTube back then. Oh, and by the way, I will be going into my junior year of high school, in case you guys didn't know. And what else? I watched a couple of these before filming this video because I wanted to make sure that I didn't say like the same stuff that everybody else was saying, even though some of it is pretty similar because most of the advice is the same. I mean, it's good advice, like, don't get me wrong, but most of those videos do say the same thing. So I kind of tried to pick some different things. I have a little flashcard of all my stuff. About to try to sit it somewhere so that I can look at it. Anyways, the first thing that I wrote down is school supplies. So basically what I wanted to say about that is, if you know how many classes you have, you probably want to get enough notebooks for each of your classes. And you want to get some pens and pencils. Like, honestly, unless you're taking some type of... Did my video stop recording? Oh no, okay. Anyways, like I was saying, unless you're taking some type of art class, you don't really need all those crayons and colored pencils. And really, unless you're an art major, you don't really need crayons, colored pencils, markers, anything like that. You probably want to get some Sharpies, some pens, some pencils, some notebooks, like 2 to 3 binders depending on how many classes you have, because every class is not going to require a binder, but some classes are going to require only binders. So honestly, you're not really going to know what you need unless you get a school supply list. You're not really going to know what you need until you go to all your classes. But you just don't want to be too like over prepared, you know what I'm saying? Like, your book bag shouldn't be so full, because at the end of the day, all you really need is notebooks or binders. Like, you're not going to have a class where you need a binder and a notebook. You're going to need either a notebook or a binder. And some writing utensils. Highlighters are also good. Highlighters come in handy. And if you're one of those people who like to color code your notes, then highlighters and colored pens come in handy as well. And for me personally, I didn't take notes in middle school, so like, I never color coordinated my notes. But if you are like me and you never took notes throughout middle school, you just probably want to write it like really neatly, like as neatly as you can. And then as you're going through the lesson, like if your teacher repeats something or something that they say like, oh, remember that, like, you probably want to highlight those things if you don't really know how to color coordinate your notes. So yeah, I think I covered everything for school supplies. The next thing is middle school friends. I noticed how a lot of people are saying, don't think like your whole group of middle school friends is going to stay friends. I agree with that. However, you can keep middle school friends. Like, if you don't want to stop being friends with your middle school friends, don't stop being friends with them, you know. For me personally, me and my middle school group of friends, we didn't go to the same high school, so that kind of played a huge role in it. But honestly, like, your middle school friends, like, you can keep your same friends and just make new friends. Like, make your friend group larger, you know. Like, I know sometimes it's kind of hard to have a large group of friends because sometimes you can't really trust them. But just because you guys are going from middle school to high school does not mean you guys will not be friends anymore. Some people, you might find out that they're actually like really fake, or they do something to you and you never want to talk to them again. Or you might do something to them and they never want to talk to you again. But just because you guys are going from middle school to high school does not mean that your friendship is over. If you want to stay friends with someone, stay friends with them. Also, I know in high school, of course, you guys are going to want to make friends, especially if you don't have any friends from middle school and you don't know anyone. You're going to want to make friends, but my kind of tip or advice for that would be to not like, don't go back and forth with your teachers, like arguing with them, because at the end of the day you want to at least have 1 or 2 teachers that you're cool with by the end of your freshman year, because it can really help you in the long run, like not only like when you need recommendations and stuff, but also I know I'm pretty sure for all high schools you need community service hours. And if you're cool with any teachers, actually your teacher can help you get jobs. If you're cool with a teacher, they might round your grade. You know, they don't really round grades if they don't like you. Well, some might not. I don't really know. It just depends on your teacher. And also, yeah, just having some teachers that you're cool with, it can really help you in the long run. You don't want to be so loud. Like, if you're just one of those silly, goofy people who wants to scream to your friend from across the hallway, like, that's one thing, but you don't want to be screaming and stuff like just all throughout the hallways, like yelling and screaming. You don't want to do that. You don't want to draw so much attention to yourself, because honestly that's just negative attention, and you don't really need that, especially your first year of high school. You don't need any negativity, because drama is going to come your way whether you start the drama or not. Things are going to come your way. Your friends might be in drama, you might get dragged into it, you know, rumors, everything. So drama is going to come your way without you being loud and bringing all that negative energy, because there are going to be some people who are like naturally loud people, but there are also going to be those people who are like, why are you so loud? So you just don't want to be drawing attention to yourself so much. You do not want to be running through the hallways. I don't care how late you are for class. Like, seriously, do not run to class. Seriously, that's like, for one, they're going to right away know that you're a freshman. But you just don't want to do that, because, one, what if you fall? 2, it's not really bringing negativity, but people are going to probably talk about you and laugh at you. But honestly, people are going to talk about you either way. But you just don't want to be that one kid running through the hallway or being loud in the hallway, like I said before. And also in class, like if you're talking to your friends or anywhere, like if you're talking to your friend and like the whole classroom can hear your conversation, like you don't want to be that person, trust me. So say you are just like holding out your schedule, trying to find your specific classroom. You kind of want to before you leave your class, you want to know what room number you're looking for, because you don't want to be that person just walking super slow because you're trying to pull out your schedule and find out where your next classroom is. Yeah, where your next classroom is. You might even want to take a picture of your class schedule and either make it your lock screen or just have it in your phone if you can get to it quickly. But you do not want to be that one person that's in the hallway walking slow, looking down at their schedule because they don't know where they're going. If you go to a big high school, then you probably will get lost, but you at least want to know where you're going or what you're looking for. And sometimes also, just a kind of disclaimer, well, I don't think it's a disclaimer, but sometimes you don't want to ask upperclassmen for help, because sometimes they will just honestly just send you on a dummy mission. Not really to be rude or anything like that, they just think it's funny to mess with the underclassmen. So I'm not saying you can't ask anybody for help, but you want to be very cautious when you are going whatever in the direction that they tell you to go. So make sure you're being very cautious. Like if it sounds kind of funny, like it sounds like it doesn't make sense, like what, then you probably want to ask somebody else and see if they give you some different directions. Or you could also always just ask a teacher, because teachers at the end of the day are teachers and they pretty much know their way around the school, and they're not going to send you on a dummy mission. They're going to send you to the classroom that you asked them to send you to. Grades, your grades are important, because like your GPA at the end of your senior year, they're going to take all of your GPAs and average them, and that's going to be your final GPA. So if you get super low GPAs all through 9th grade, it's going to be super hard to bring those back up. So you want to make sure that you're doing your best. If you're not a person who really gets good grades, okay, but make sure you're not getting worse than what you should be getting. You know, like if you can have a A in the class, don't have a C just because you're passing. You know, you want to be doing your absolute best, because also it's kind of hard to like say you have a C in one class, you kind of want to make up for it by having an A in 3 other classes, you know, because pretty much anything other than an A ultimately brings your GPA down. I don't want to get too much into grades because honestly some people take grades seriously, some people don't. But if you are wondering if your grades matter, they do matter. Like some people will tell you like, oh, first quarter doesn't matter, second semester doesn't matter, whatever. It all matters because it's all gonna at the end of your high school experience or whatever, every GPA you ever got is going to be averaged, and that average GPA, that's what you're going to be sending to colleges. So if college is something you're interested in, you should probably just be doing your best. As far as it goes with boys, or I guess girls if you're a guy, you don't need to run away from somebody just because they're an upperclassman. You know, like every upperclassman isn't just trying to ruin your life. You just need to make sure you get to know them first. You need to make sure that they're willing to have conversations with you, you know, like go places and, you know, whatever type of stuff you're into. You just want to make sure you're getting to know somebody first before you're doing anything other than getting to know them. You know, you make sure they're willing to get to know you first, because if they're not willing to get to know you first and they just want to go right into, you know, other stuff, then maybe you should run the other direction. But if somebody's actually willing to get to know you, you know, want to do things that you're interested in, take you to do things that they're interested in, then they're 9 times out of 10 not such a bad person, because nobody's really gonna go through all of that just to be in a relationship with somebody. And also, if you are going like from a middle school relationship to a high school relationship, like once you get to like your senior year, you're probably going to look back after middle school relationships like that wasn't even a real relationship, like I was so young, da 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 da. But at the time for you it might be serious, and just because you're going from middle school to high school does not mean that your relationship will end. You do not have to run away from being in a relationship. You don't want to get too attached. Like you want to make sure you have other friends and stuff like that, because at the end of the day everything will come to an end eventually. Hopefully not so soon, but you do want to make sure you have other friends. But just because you're in a relationship does not mean like you're gonna just fail school. You know, if you can manage them both, then you can manage them both. You shouldn't let somebody else tell you don't be in a relationship, because then you're not going to be focused on school. You know, if anything, you guys should both be, you know, respecting the fact that you guys need your alone time to focus on your school stuff, and also respecting the fact that you have friends and other people that you want to hang out with. So you don't need to be with the person you're in a relationship in 24/7, or you don't need to be talking to them 24/7 either. I know some people don't like to like text one person all day every day or be on the phone all day, but if you are into that type of thing, you kind of gotta like not be so clingy, because high school is the time for making friends, being adventurous, exploring, you know, everything like that. So at the end of the day, if you're in high school, you are still young. So if a relationship is something that you want to keep, then you're gonna have to accept the fact that you're young and mistakes are going to be made, because you guys are young. And then especially if you guys are in high school, you're just going to want to adventure out and do other things. So you have to be content with that. I said be cool with everyone. Obviously, well, not obviously, but if you're like me, you're going to have some people that you don't like. You don't need to be friends with the people you don't like. All I'm saying by be cool with everyone is be cool with the people that you can be cool with. You know, like don't start unnecessary drama. Don't try to get into drama that doesn't have anything to do with you, you know, because at the end of the day, I know this may sound kind of bad, but at the end of the day, like that person may be the person with the answers to the test that you didn't study for, and nobody's gonna send answers to somebody who they don't like. So even if you're not like this, you know, buddy, you want to at least be cordial with everyone, so that they know it's no beef between you guys, and in the long run it can end up helping you out, not only with tests. Like you never know what people can be beneficial for, and people never know what you can be beneficial for. So if you guys are at least cordial with each other, even if you guys are not best buds, like you guys can end up helping each other in the long run. My next one is so important. Do not skip classes that you are already failing. If you have an F in the class, you should be in that class every day doing everything you can to get yourself above an F. Even if you have a C or a D, honestly, you shouldn't be skipping that class. I mean, I'm not saying you can skip if you have A's or B's, but I'm just saying like you have to really think about it. If you went to the class every day and you still have an F, how is not going to affect your grade, you know? Like once F, like you know how every other grade is like 10%, like A is 90 to 100, B is 80 to 89 or whatever. F is anything, well, based on how my grades are, but F is anything 50 and below. So once you, or actually 59 and below. So yeah, so like your F can just keep getting lower and lower and lower, and then by the time the end of the card marking is like the only thing you could do is maybe get a high F, high enough for them to round to a D. You know what I'm saying? So if you really care about your grades, you should most definitely be going to all of your classes, but especially the ones you're failing. Every day counts, so do not be that one student who only goes to school 3 days out of the week, because that's gonna affect your grade a lot. Some teachers will be like, oh well, we did this yesterday, so you're just gonna have to take a L on that assignment or whatever. Like, you know, some teachers really are like that, which again goes back into being cool with your teachers, because maybe if you are cool with your teacher, they may let you make up your work, but at the end of the day, teachers are not obligated to let you make up your work. So of course you can miss school some days, you know, everybody needs a break sometimes, but all that I'm saying is if you can be in school, go to school. Don't just wake up 2 days in a row like, oh, I don't feel like going to school, you know. Don't miss weeks at a time. Honestly, I would say don't miss 2 days in a row at a time. You really don't even want to miss 2 days in the same week. I know you guys are like, dang, she just wanted me to go to school every day, but you kind of have to, like, especially if you have harder classes. Like, you miss 1 day and then they learn something, and then you need to know that to know what they learned the next day, and it just puts you more behind, causes more stress, and affects your grade a lot in the end. You always want to have emergency gum and food, because sometimes you may eat something. Like for me personally, it was a Bucharest by my school, and if you guys know what Bucharest is, it's like shawarma, but they do make your breath smell really bad. So I always had emergency gum with me, because I did not want to be walking around with bad breath. And you also want to have emergency food, but you want to have something that, like granola bars or something that won't like get old and stale over time. Like chips, for instance, will get stale over time, because you want to have your emergency food for like maybe those days you were rushing out the house and you didn't have enough time to get breakfast. You know, you have that emergency food in your locker or in your backpack, so that you're never just going throughout the day starving, because it's really hard to learn when your stomach is empty. And the last thing I have for you guys is, don't base your experience of freshman year based on other people's experience of freshman year. And basically what I mean by that is, if somebody who already experienced freshman year tells you, oh, freshman year was the easiest, da 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 da. First off, if they're not a senior, like if they have not already graduated out of high school, they can't tell you that anyway, because they haven't experienced all of their years yet. But second, also, if they were a freshman 4 or 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years later, your freshman experience is definitely going to be different. You may not have all the same teachers as them, probably won't have all the same assignments as them. Even if you do go to the same school and get the same teachers, like, everybody is different, and everybody's experience is going to be different. Some people say freshman year was the hardest, some people say it was the easiest. For you, you'll never know until you graduate from your senior year. So don't go into your first high school year thinking you already know what it's about to be like because somebody else told you what it was like for them, because at the end of the day, like I said, that's just not it. Like, different people have different experiences. Okay guys, so that was it for my freshman advice video. I really hope this was helpful for you guys, and I really hope you guys kind of have a better view of what your freshman year may be like if you were kind of scared or something, because at the end of the day, you do not need to be scared. Just take it day by day. You know, 4 years from now, you will be graduating, and then the rest of your life will pretty much be in your hands. So I hope this was very helpful for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I'm gonna start doing more back to school videos. My next video is gonna be a sophomore advice video, and then I have some other things, because I can't really do junior or senior advice because I haven't experienced that yet. So I do have some more back to school videos coming soon. So subscribe to my channel and turn on my notifications so you don't miss a video. Bye.